Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to We Are The Hansons. I think we all have went through, if you've got kids, that first breakup or the heartbreak that comes with your adult kids, learning that every relationship's not going to last forever. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Hanson, and
Maya Hanson.
That's my wife. And, because of recent things, we thought, hey, this might be a good time to release this show because it's always emotional, always, whether it's your little boy, whether it's your little girl. And when I say that, I mean, they can be in their 20s and you still feel like they're yours. I mean, the baby, the little, right?
Yeah, they're definitely ours.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get that feeling. I think from a dad's perspective, it's different than a mom's perspective. I really do believe that. But, I think number one thing is just being there for them.
Yeah, I think being there for them and having them being able to vent or talk to you is a big thing.
Yeah, and I think mothers may be better for that.
I guess it's like creating a safe space.
Right. Let them talk, let them do their things, It's very hard as a dad not to be like, well, I told you that, or what were you thinking? Or, but that's really at that point the last thing they need.
I think it's pretty hard for a mom because, especially if it's your daughter, because you see what she's going through and you just want to find the guy.
Well, there is some truth in that. We're not going to get into specific stories, but yes, there is some truth in that. I think there's differences. Like if they break up for whatever reason, just some nonchalant, regular breakup reason, I think there's something to that. But I also think that there's something different, whether there's, I know it's boyfriend and girlfriend, but there's still such a thing as infidelity.
There is. I also think that boys don't show the emotions like the girls do.
Facts.
So it's more heartbreaking because you see your daughter crying and the boys are just like hiding it, even though they're hurt.
Right. Yeah. It's the outward expression of whatever emotion they have in the moment. But, I think, number one, you have to be emotionally available to them, even though that's hard sometimes. And you have to, while you're doing that, you also have to listen without judgment in the moment. Kind of let them express their feelings. Don't interrupt them. And don't minimize their pain. Even like, the 16-year-old first love breakups, like people know that most of the time that's coming.
Yeah.
But when you're young, that's your whole world. That's everything at the moment. So do you ever find it hard not to minimize that when you know it's coming?
I do. And you don't want to try and fix it because obviously they have to fix it on their own. They need to be the one to take that step. All you can do is guide them and hope to God that they take your advice.
Well, you can try, but I think it's important that, especially if you're a parent that likes being there with your children, like being there, and you're the one that gives them confidence, you're the one that, I think it's easy for them to fall in the trap of what's wrong with me and all that. And, I think you need to say things like, I know this really hurts, but I promise you, give it another day and tomorrow you'll be better, or it'll get better. Or, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay as a parent to be empathetic, even as minimal as you think. Like, we've been together 20-some years. It'd be a little bit different if we broke up than if we had a 8-month sweetheart romance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to validate the things that they feel. You really do. And patience is something that I learned a lot about, and I know with children in breakups or heartbreak, or we've dealt with different types of heartbreak, but in this show we're specifically talking about their relationships with other people.
Yeah.
And I think it helps as a parent if you set expectations of what they think they should be treated like.
Yeah, I also think like having them setting boundaries and encouraging them that they're worth something, and their worth is, they can move along and they don't have to jump into a new relationship right away. They can live, happy regardless if they have somebody or not. There's always going to be somebody down the road.
Right. Yeah, they should set boundaries, and I'm a big believer in setting standards. Like, you can avoid a lot of heartache if you have standards for the people you date. You have to be a good judge of character. You have to have standards on the way that you get treated, and you have to have self-confidence to know when something's your fault or if it's not your fault, or even if it is your fault, if they overreacted, those types of things. And I think with that is experience also.
We've always told our kids, too, not to let their friends influence them in, like, staying with their girlfriends or, staying with their boyfriends or vice versa,
Oh, yeah. If your son's friend gets slighted by his girlfriend, he's going to do it. It's just the mamby-pamby high school game of stuff like that. But it's specifically this. It's okay to hug your kid, to, put your hand on their shoulder, sit beside them and just listen. Yeah, I know my daughter here, boy, when something like this happens, she usually cries a little bit. She cries on my shoulder, and then she'll tell me about what's going on. And you have to kind of sit there, and you have to reassure them of how much value they bring, because it's just devastating when this happens. So you got to reinstall that confidence, reinstall that, making them self-assured that, life will go on. And, you got to remember to tell them their value is not defined by the relationship they're in.
And they also, when you have a breakup, you don't have as many, or you have more friends contacting you and being able to ask you to go places, as opposed to when you're with somebody, your friends think that your time is more important with your significant other as opposed to them. So they don't contact you and ask you to do stuff like they would if you didn't have a significant other.
100%. A lot of times relationships mean ending friendships. And that's just one of those life things that you have to learn to have a little bit of balance with. And I really don't know. You can talk Terry blue in the face, but I really don't know if you can know that until you've been through that. Because at the time, when you head over heels, all you want to do is be with that person.
Yeah. And then, so when you have this breakup situation and you are going through heartbreak, you as a parent or maybe your siblings should be providing comfort and distraction to your sister or brother.
Right.
To keep their mind going away from that situation.
I mean, I do feel like our family has an advantage because there's 7 brothers. So if the girls have a bad breakup, you don't want to be the boyfriend that did it.
Yeah.
I think you should try, if you can, try to normalize what they're going through to a point. Like, don't make it about you, but it's okay to share stories of, your own breakups, your own heartbreak, to make them feel like, other people have been there, so they don't feel alone during that.
Yeah. And I think that just being there, letting them conversate and get all that out, and, being able to go and hang out with their friends or, whatnot, keeping their mind occupied is going to help.
Yeah. Hey, try not to say things like, hey, you're going to get over it, or it wasn't real, or, because it's all about perspective, and it might be very real to them. And you got to remember, they're individuals. So, I have said that to my boys. I would never say, you're going to get over this to my daughters. I would never say that. To the boys, for me, it's a little bit different perspective. It's like, go through this emotion, but realize you got to get over this because life ain't easy, and this ain't going to be easy. With the girls, I'm not so much like that, but I think that most of the time you take two different perspectives because of the way that they think.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen heartbreak in my boys and my girls, and the boys seem a lot stronger. And maybe it's just because they don't want to show their parents, like, yeah, I'm sad or whatever. But I
think it's a logical thing versus an emotional thing. Like, it's emotional for them, but they try to wade through their emotions or, decompartmentalize whatever they're going through logically. Where I think the girls, they think logically too, but not like guys.
More emotional.
It's way more emotional. And it's with the guys, or with the boys, excuse me, it's, I can't believe she would do that. But with the girls, a lot more of the time, it's, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, I have to agree about that.
So, give your perspective, but make sure that you give your perspective gently. And try, especially with girls, try not to diminish their pain or diminish the feelings that they're feeling at the moment.
Yeah, and you want to try and encourage them to set goals for themselves.
Right. Yeah, I think goals is one thing, but also in my life, when I have dealt with stuff like this, it always helped me. I would just go work. Like, I mean, you know that about me. If I ever have something on my mind, I work. And while I'm working, I think about it.
Yeah, and I think that, going to school or going to a job, if you don't have a distraction, you think about stuff more.
I agree. And it's a proven fact. If you're depressed or something like that, get up and go walk, do something physical, because if you want to change your mental state, change your physical state, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's important also that, and I don't think this is something you spring on the moment, like when they're in this breakup, but I think that as a parent, you should be giving them creative outlets their whole time, whether it's, like, you remember the little girls, like their best friend, well, we had a fight today. We're no longer best friends anymore.
Yeah.
And to them, that's heartbreak at that age. So they should have something to do rather than just sit on their, iPad or play video games. Write something, listen to something, go sing, go do something. Yes. I'm a firm believer in physical activity. Get out and go do something, because most of the time they don't want to, but that cycle of depression can set in unless you make them. And it is your job as a parent to make sure that they are doing the best thing for them and that you are doing the best thing for them. So sometimes, not being demanding, but hey, come on, let's go do this. Go take them for a walk. Go shoot some hoops. Go throw the football around. Do something to take their mind off of it. Or if they're not taking their mind off of it, to get them to think in a more constructive way.
Yep. And we've always encouraged our kids independence.
Yeah, for sure, independence. But even with independence, I mean, when you're an independent person, in a weird sort of way, the friend base that you have and the family that you have take on a larger role if you're independent, rather than if you're a nester or a complete networker where you're not independent. I think that it may be more important as an independent person to have a strong backing, like a family resource or a good friend.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, especially with dating today, that you set boundaries for social media exposure, because the things that you see on there, that saying, believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. I think that when they go and they see this stuff on social media, I think that in relationships, it's almost like a death blow, because nothing that you see on social media is real. And it creates unrealistic expectations of what you should have in your relationships. And I think sometimes it can set you up for heartbreak.
Yeah, it definitely can set you up for heartbreak, especially if you're...
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Going on there just to see what your ex or whatever is doing, or you know.
Right. I'm a pretty big believer in digital detoxing. Just get away from it for a while, get your mind straight, go for a ride, go do something. It seems to me, especially in relationships, that's very, very healthy. Even with us, you take a break from social media for a little bit and you focus on each other. That can be a big help, even if it's just focusing on yourself.
Or video games or whatever.
Right, whatever it may be. I think telling and teaching your kids not to make rash decisions. Don't be impulsive. Don't send that text right away when you're angry. Don't make a call when you're angry. Don't put a post on. We're all guilty of it.
Don't rush.
But don't rush it. Think through things. When you're emotionally charged, it tends not to be very good when you start sending text calls or social media posts. What do you think?
I have to agree, because you want to make sure you're not going to say something you'll regret.
Right. And, with kids and the expectations that they have going to school today, or with relationships today, I don't think that they prioritize rest enough. I don't think that they prioritize nutrition enough. And there's nothing that will put a smile on your daughter's face after a breakup than eating some of the food that she really likes.
That's for sure.
Or just being around people that love her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same with the boys.
Yeah, but it's not as much with the boys.
No. The boys are much more to go do something.
Yeah, the boys try to act tough.
Well, I don't know if it's an act.
Well, they try to show toughness as opposed to, sadness. Like they'll say, oh, she'll come back around, or there's always the next girl,
And they usually do.
Yeah.
For them, that's been the case in our family. But I think that's important, getting enough rest, eating enough food, and the right kind of food. It's okay to sit together and have a movie night, a game night, just family outings, just getting together with people. It's a distraction for your mind. And sometimes just that can create comfort for yourself.
That and helping them build confidence again is a big thing. And it helps when you're building them up.
Right. I hate to say it, but it's the truth that these breakups and heartbreaks and things like that, it's all part of growing. Whether it's your emotional growth, whether it's you becoming resilient. Here's the thing. You don't become resilient if everything is easy. You don't get emotional growth unless you go through the things that destroy things that make you stronger. So in a weird sort of way, it's part of the parent's job to make sure that they learn from their experience. When they're ready, discuss what they've learned and what you've learned, and try to apply that to relationships. I think that being able to teach them, I don't know, it's a word, would coping strategies be the right word?
Yeah, I would say.
Breathing exercises. I don't know if I would go that far. I think that our kids have enough emotional restraint that they're not uncontrollably breathing and stuff like that. But I've seen some kids that could be. I think that even under pressure, teaching them to be mindful of other people is important. And hopefully by the time they have these types of issues, they actually know techniques that help them relax, that help them think, that, meditation's probably too far, but actually put themselves in a position where they can think clearly.
Exercising is very good.
Right. And the other thing is, through this whole time, you should be talking about things that get them excited, that help them have a little bit of hope. Kids today, the mental health problems that kids have today, a lot of it are caused by the digital world. A lot of it is caused by not being purpose-driven. And a lot of it is caused simply because they don't have hope or goals for tomorrow.
Yeah, you definitely need goals.
Now, I've never had to deal with this per se, and neither have you. But I think that it's important as a good parent to see the signs of depression or prolonged sadness. Maybe you can't clinically say, well, this is depression. But you should be able to have a spot that you're thinking about your kids about that. Are they depressed? And do they need to go see a doctor? Now, I am not one of these people that, go put your kid on this drug, because I don't believe in that crap because it doesn't work. And what is it? 47% of all children are on some sort of medication, antidepressant in the United States. That's staggering. I don't believe in them. I have seen where they don't work in most cases. I'm sure in some cases they have, but in the ones that I have seen, they haven't. If you see changes in eating, if you see weird changes in sleep, if you see like a complete withdrawal from social activities, maybe it's time to go seek help elsewhere. Maybe a doctor, maybe a pastor, maybe something like that.
There is other ways to deal with depression rather than taking a medication. Because to me, I think antidepressants make you more depressed.
Right. And, the thing is mental health is real.
It is.
So at some point, and you should set that boundary with yourself about your child, maybe counseling or maybe therapy, maybe that's something they need. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I can't tell you when to do it, and I've never personally got there. But I can tell you this. As a father, as a parent, and as a husband for that matter, I have been put in situations where I feel helpless, especially with your wife and kids or your wife and girls, where you're like, I don't know if I can fix this. My goal is to fix this. My goal is to take their pain away. But the best cure that I have found for that is consistency in being there, consistency showing them that you love them, and being the best support and confidence builder that your kids can have. I believe that's your job as a father.
Yeah, I believe that just being there for your kids, and, when you start seeing a change in them, you take action as a parent right away. You don't let it slide for weeks or months on end. You take action right away and get on it before it gets worse.
Right. And if you're a father like me, it is 110,000% okay to go set boundaries with the people that your daughters want to date.
Or sons.
That's the mom's job.
Yeah, definitely got to set boundaries on both ends.
And sometimes I'm not very nice. I've been to the point where I haven't been very nice because I'm not blind. I can see things. And I've been to the point where my daughter said, Dad, you embarrassed me so much. I didn't mean to embarrass her, but would I do it again? Absolutely, because I am protecting her from things that she doesn't even know that's out there. And I know you've done the same thing with our sons.
I'm probably worse. But
it's just one of those things that in parenting, sucks. Sometimes as a father, it is your job to be the bad guy.
And we always tell our kids, we've gone through it. We know,
Right.
we're not just doing it out of anger or spite. We've been there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be protecting you like we do.
Right. I mean, heartache's going to happen. Getting cheated on, I hope doesn't happen, but I think about 99% of the kids out there are going to go through that at this time.
Yeah.
I think it's important to realize that 99% of the time when your kids are dating somebody, they're dating another kid. It's just one kid experiencing things with another kid, and heartbreak is going to happen.
For
and
sure.
betrayal is going to happen. And this is a learning process, and it's a growth process. And just knowing who they are and spending time with them, creating and building confidence, and having an open shoulder and open ears for them, I think is the best therapy that any kid could have.
Yes. So if you guys have any questions for us, you can send us a message on our We Are The Hansons Facebook page, or send us an email on wearethehansonsshow@gmail.com. And please go subscribe to our We Are The Hansons YouTube channel.
Thank you very much for joining us today. This has been We Are The Hansons.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.